Guys, look at this fire show. It's in Russia, Ust-Luga oil port. Ukraine really helps Russia for the awesome shows. This is outstanding. It is burning, they say. Yeah, it is, we see. Thanks for the video. It looks like the local pipeline that leads to the oil tanker, it seems like, but the entire port is on fire. Let me show you one picture. Yep, it's like that. It's not an AI-generated picture. This is what happened. In Ust-Luga port, just yesterday I mentioned you Ust-Luga, that it's not that far away from the port that was kaboomed the day before yesterday. But Ukraine did the same attack, even with more harsh circumstances for Ust-Luga, which is actually the biggest Russian oil export port in the Baltic Sea. And you see, it's like some sort of the picture of the ship battle, yeah. Pearl Harbor, many people say, but those are not the military ships, after all. But it looks like from some sort of the movie. So that's the real place. It was geolocated as the part of the Ust-Luga port, oil storage, and all of those ships parked. One of the ships is on fire. It is visible here. I'm just shocked. Ukraine paralyzed two of the big Russian oil export ports, dropping the Russian entire oil export by 40%. 4-0. Russia cannot export. Before Ukraine hit multiple of the times Novorossiysk infrastructure, and now it hits further away, around 1,000 kilometers from the Ukrainian border. And let's check out Google Maps for the satellite images. So this is Ukraine, St. Petersburg. Let's zoom in to Primorsk that was hit the day before yesterday. This facility allegedly is still on fire, as it is reported by local news, and Ust-Luga port is over here. The same place which I showed you on those satellite images before. So vessels here, and at least the part of the Enterprise is on fire. Well, as I remember, the Ust-Luga oil storage was hit already at least a couple of the times by occasional Ukrainian drones, but never ever the circumstances were so severe for the Russian oil export. Guys, what is happening is just beyond outstanding. This is just fantastic, awesome, you can name it, because Russia thought, okay, the oil prices are high, so we may export and sell oil and get some of the money to the military budget, but now they physically cannot export 40% of their oil. It means that the Russian budget may suffer for some time at least. They need to restore those facilities, and they might spend several weeks or even months for repairs. This is great. Yeah, especially now that partially sanctions were lifted from Russia by Donald Trump. He also lifted from Iran, which is crazy. But Ukraine applies its own sanctions. They are called Kinetic sanctions, and they're very, very successful. I believe that next will be again Novorossiysk port, because Russia continued to use it. Yes, it was damaged, but it still works. But this Ust-Luga port, yeah, it's not working. And Primorsk, the one in the Gulf of Finland as well. So Russia cannot export its oil. My friends, just a reminder for you, please don't forget to press like to this video just right now, and also subscribe for the channel. It really helps a lot. Also, if you have an opportunity, you may support me on Patreon. The link for it is in the video description below, or on membership of the channel by pressing button join. You are making this content possible with your kind support. Thank you so much for it. Let's continue with the video. You may see that the damage is really severe. I might say that it's even bigger, looks bigger than in Primorsk before. Jeez, that's crazy. From the further perspective, it's like a volcano eruption. Yeah, after all, those kind of the fires are quite rare on Russia, and it will continue to burn, and fire will spread from one tank to another. Yeah, definitely that was not a Photoshop. We have a new video from the place. This is big, this is huge. We have everything, geolocation, what particular is burning there. Jeez. This is definitely like volcano eruption. Some of the crew filmed that, maybe of the shadow oil tanker registered somewhere in the other country than Russia. This has never been like this before. This is just fantastic what Ukraine does, hitting Russian infrastructure, definitely causing disruptions in the Russian war economy. Oh, it was Reuters reporting that 40% of the Russian oil export capacity has been halted following the major Ukrainian drone attacks. So if something outstanding happens with Iranian war, for example, Trump tags out, it means that Russia will not be capable to use this golden time to fill the budget with oil dollars. Then they have this opportunity. Well, they have sanctions relieved. They might sell the oil. They have customers, even from Philippines, somehow. But they physically cannot do it as before. Yeah, just hope that the war in Iran will finish as soon as possible before Russia is capable to repair their oil facilities. Well, anyways, I think if Ukraine is capable to strike Russia that hard with just drones, I think Ukraine might do it almost every day. If Russia repairs those, Ukraine should strike Ust-Luga and Primorsk ports once again. And it is the never-ending story for Russia. And you know, guys, this is a Vyborg port of Russia, also near the Baltic Sea. The sound tells that the air defense is in operation. Vyborg, by the way, also was hit yesterday. She said, "What is that?" "It doesn't sound like the fireworks," she said. Well, Russian girl, I know the answer. What is that? It is just a special military operation. No panic, no frustration. And just some of the music bells. And here you may see that the fire in Ust-Luga really continues. This is a very fresh picture that was taken this evening. Supernova Plus, thank you for sharing all of those images, taking those from Russian Telegram groups. Sometimes Telegram occasionally is working for Russians. The full block is supposed to happen in April. Also because of the strike yesterday, Russia lost this military icebreaker ship. It was on construction phase, so it wasn't active yet in the Russian Navy, but you see, probably she went drunk, wanted to sleep, and local fellow helped her. One more image of the same ship from the different perspective. The ship is Project 23550 military icebreaker used to patrol Arctics, capable to carry helicopters, some of the smaller boats, and it is also equipped with several radars and other equipment. Some sources say it also has the equipment to search for the submarines, but I'm not sure about that one. Well, maybe Russians will be capable to repair the ship, but for sure it will take them lots of the time and resources. So it was not active once again, it was at the building stage, but at the final stage of building. Plus, Ukrainian bombers were spotted over Leningrad Oblast. Those are the drones converted from the ultralight airplanes, and they're capable to carry bombs. So they drop the bombs, and they also carry internal TNT payload. So they not only drop the bomb, but they kaboom themselves into the target. This is how this ultralight looks. It carries a bomb 100 with something kilograms, maybe 150 maximum. Sometimes they also carry the payload inside, instead of pilots. An interesting fact that Leningrad Oblast was bombed for the first time since the Second World War with aviation bomb. And the second interesting fact that such a small airplane was capable to cover so many kilometers from Ukraine to reach Leningrad Oblast and those Russian oil ports without being shut down or maybe even spotted by the Russian air defense. And the Russians, they cannot believe that their air defense is so weak, and they start to come out with some of the crazy conspiracy theories that Ukraine attacks them from Poland, Lithuania, Latvia and Estonia, not to overfly hostile Russian and Belarus territory. So this is what they tell on their channels. Ukraine launches drones to Poland, Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, and boom, Russian refinery. And the next one, Russian air defense is blind. They do not see the drone flying over the NATO states, which makes those NATO states be involved in the war against Russia. So Russia may start its special military operation number 2. Well, that is what they say, at least. By the way, about Primorsk port that was hit the day before, well, here we have the confirmation from Cyberborshna. They published this image showing that not just the oil tanks went on fire, but also a critical part, equipment that is used to refuel oil tankers, and that might take quite a while to repair everything of that. Yeah, длится вечно. Kind of the musical video today, right? So someone filmed a clip showing a destroyed Feodosia oil storage facility that was hit before, I think a few months ago, but nevertheless nothing is left from it. So Russians cannot really refuel their ships in Feodosia. What they do, they send those tankers to refuel their ships, and Russia also keeps navy in Feodosia. Yeah, fantastic music. Please, Russians, play it once again on Putin's funeral. Plus, we have the information about Saratov oil storage and refinery. According to the most recent news coming from Russia, Russia stopped the operation of this facility because of the damages sustained by the drone debris which fell down to the facility as the result of the Russian air defense operation. That is what Russians write, but actually it was just a drone-precise strike. Russians always say about missile and drone debris and never admit that their air defense just sucks. Yeah, fantastic videos from Magyar birds are coming from the front lines. Warbusters, those are the hunters for the prey, and just recently they published a new compilation of their job coming from the front lines, of how they mostly destroy Russian logistics. Lots of the small vehicles, bigger vehicles, trucks, and lots of the other stuff. Fantastic job by Magyar birds, they're superb. Of course, some of the videos with this, for example, supply convoy were geolocated and confirmed. We have even coordinates: Poltavka, Zaporizhia Oblast. By the way, Ukraine was quite successfully recently in Zaporizhia direction. We have this information published that Ukraine pushed Russians kind of hard in Primorsk direction, so Russians had to retreat from part of Dachi. Plus, Ukraine is quite active in Stepnohirsk, clearing the settlement from Russians' presence. So in entire Zaporizhia region, Ukraine took initiative, even in Gulai Pole. Ukraine cut all of the small Russian attacks and also advances in Dobropilya. Ukraine moves from the northern area to the south, from Dnipropetrovsk region. Yeah, from that spot there were not many updates for the last couple of days, but we know that Russia is struggling. Russians are trying to send more forces, but we have the news that Ukraine also sends its reinforcements. For example, Unit Observer analysis says that the 1st Azov Corps of the National Guard has 4 of its 5 organic brigades operating in this sector. In the sector of where? Oh, this is Pokrovsk-Dobropilya direction. That's Donetsk Oblast already. So Ukraine withdrew 33rd Mechanized Brigade to operate in Kupiansk. I think it happened well before. And now Ukraine reinforces Dobropilya. By the way, there were again some of the attempts of the Russian army to attack towards Dobropilya. But as we might remember, half a year ago, Azov Corps repelled all of those previous attacks. And with new reinforcements, I guess Russia has no chance to propel towards Dobropilya. Azov is freaking capable, and if they operate with 4 out of 5 brigades in this single direction, well, they use tremendous force. And they have lots of the drones. So Russians, all of your attempts to break to Dobropilya are basically doomed. Oh, more videos from the front lines. Niva, trailer, this is kind of ordinary already. All-terrain vehicle, okay. More, alright. A convoy with a falling Russian that was obliterated before and continued to be obliterated. There was the waiter drone, or holder, we call them. Tons and tons of the videos coming from the front lines, guys. Sometimes I cannot share all of those on this platform, especially the aftermath of the strikes, but believe me, the losses of the Russian army they're crazy. Oh, this is nice. This is some sort of the artillery or maybe tank. And some of the drone interceptions. This is Mavic, Russian surveillance drone that was flying over Ukrainian positions. Booms. And Wi-Fi bridges, of course. Couple of the Russian motorcycles decided to run near the holder drone. Oh, there's the fire. Just imagine adrenaline which they have. Oh, there is the chase, like in a classical detective movie. And one motorcyclist is falling down, okay. It's better to chase the one who didn't see the drone coming. Well, later on he felt that. Well, in general, about the front lines, for the last day, nothing special was happening, except Ukrainian counteroffensive in Kamensk. According to some of the sources, Ukraine is damn successful there. While Russians on their military maps also confirmed the Ukrainian counteroffensive towards Stepnohirsk and from Primorsk southbound. So this information is not just shared by Ukrainian channels, Russians tell the similar picture. And the same Russians continue to tell about the Ukrainian counteroffensive in the Dnipropetrovsk region, multiple of the attack vectors and small sabotage groups of Ukrainian army are presented in Berezovo, Zaporozhye. Well, before Russians, they draw this kind of the clouds from Ukrainian army. De facto, it's something like this, that Ukraine deoccupied all of this region. And here Russians are also telling about the Ukrainian counteroffensive towards Staroukrainka. Ukraine advanced towards that settlement and the fight is ongoing for it. It is very close to Gulaipole, but before, around 2 weeks ago, Ukrainian small group was spotted on territory of Gulaipole, but later on Russians sent the counterattack from this direction that was cancelled, so I guess there is no more presence of Ukrainian infantry. Yeah, the situation for Russians on the front lines, it's not good. For the second month, they lose more ground than they gain. Oh, such an interesting report, by the way, by legacy media in reference to intelligence information that Russia is sending drones to Iran. Western intelligence says Moscow close to completing phases deliveries of lethal weapons, food and medicine to Tehran. Guys, I bet that Donald Trump would say that it doesn't really matter that much. We obliterated them. We hit their navy, we destroyed their aviation and everything, yeah? And they'll continue to deal with Russia as nothing happened. Iranians are already publishing those kind of the photos. You see what is here? You see what is here? Something with propellers. And maybe Russia is supplying them more of the FPV drones. Russia also may send their specialists. They don't need many to train Iranian soldiers. Well, I think that those trainings were done even before, and Russia has direct connection with Iran through the Caspian Sea. So they may send lots of the ships. By the way, Russia has the biggest drone factory in the world in Elabuga. They produce lots of the Giran 2 drones, which is the analog of the Iranian Shahid 136. So in case Iran loses the capabilities to produce them, well, Russia may help its ally, because Russia already has a closed cycle of production. They do not rely any longer on Iran. Yes, they relied in 2022, 2023, 2024 partially, but since that time, no, Russia is producing everything from its own or China-made components. Yeah, by the way, Western-made components as well, because some of the micro schemes, some of the chips, they're made in the United States, Japan, some of the European countries, sadly, still.
Ну вот теперь я числюсь без вести пропавшим. Вести...
Those happy and sad TikTok videos of Russians. Мой парень в БПЛА. My boyfriend joined a drone army. Awesome. And here my boyfriend exited the unit. 2 feet underground. Oh my god. This is tragic comedy, yeah? So, we're gonna kill those ho-hos. Oh no, something went wrong. A destiny of the Russian soldier is just inevitable. You might say it's just a concert, so nothing is fishy. Just Russian flags, usual propaganda, everything is pretty much standard. Yeah, those students and everything. Those people who are sitting there, they're deaf. This is the special institution for the deaf people. And they're playing music for them. And they're showing some guns to science. More context. Those are also deaf students. And they're giving concert for their colleagues. That is basically a requirement for all of them to sing patriotic songs. Well, they cannot sing. That's why they're just dancing with science. And yeah, okay, this is Russia. Shit. And I would say that Ukrainian strikes on Russian oil storages do not fluctuate the oil price, which is great in general. But I think that the oil price, it will grow up. the next week. Because even though the mood of Donald Trump is more or less optimistic, but in general, we see that the actions of the United States, they are not showing that America is willing to stop its special operation. Oh no, military operation. I am sorry. Yeah, maybe tomorrow I'm gonna film more videos about Iran because we have some of the interesting news coming from the place. Well, guys, I guess that's all what I want to say for today. Please support me on Patreon. The link for it is in the video description right below. Obviously, if you can, you may also support the channel on membership. Just press button join. Again, if you can and you are willing to do so. But just because of your support, I am capable to film videos almost every day. Sometimes 2 videos per day as it happened today, yeah? Plus, please don't forget to press like to this video and subscribe to the channel. It really helps a lot. My friends, I wish you all a peaceful sky wherever you are and have a great time.